What's up everybody, it's Izzy. In this video, what I want to talk about is rep work efficiency and how it may translate or may not translate to a 1RM. And there's several key factors that I want to focus on. The big four are as follows. One is gender. Number two is the size of the lifter overall, so at what weight class you're in. Super heavyweight versus the lightest weight class possible, what's the difference there? The next one that I want to talk about is your actual technique. So how wide your grip is, how narrow it is. This can have an impact on if the transfer of your rep work to a 1RM. And then the last thing is the amount of reps in the set itself. So number one, I think a lot of people know this, but some people don't. Female lifters on average are capable of lifting more reps closer to their 1 rep max than males. So a lot of the times, a big problem with percentage-based programs written for males given to females is that they'll be way too easy. Like the RPEs will be super low. And this is because, like I said, on average, most female lifters are going to be able to lift more reps closer to the 1 rep max. So if your typical male lifter might be able to do 5 reps at 85%, I've seen on numerous occasions females that can do 8 reps at 85%, or they do at 90% instead of getting a triple, they get 5 reps. And this is also true, but to a lesser degree, for small male lifters. So in like 163, 145, especially like 145, 132, or whatever the other weight class is. Maybe it's I think it's 132. It's that there's the efficiency is different than it is for larger lifters. So you'll have trouble basing their attempts or figuring out what their 1RM is from those types of sets because, again, they're able to do more reps closer to their 1 rep max. Like maybe 88% is a set of 5 instead of 85. The next one that a lot of people really underestimate is the stance width or grip width that you use. So when we're talking about a high rep set, like let's say anything over 5 reps, which I know some people are laughing saying that's a high rep set, but let's say anything over 5 reps, for the most part is going to start to introduce some element of metabolic fatigue in terms of how many reps that you can do. And this is a situation where, like, a lot of us know this intuitively, that if you use a wider grip or a wider stance, especially on truly high rep sets, like over 10 reps, you're generally going to be able to do more with that wider stance or that wider grip, especially on super high rep sets, like I said, like imagine like a set of 20. And that's because you're significantly reducing the overall amount of work being defined here as, the distance that the bar is traveling working against gravity. And if you cut your range of motion by 30% due to using like a sumo stance over the course of an 8 rep set or a 10 rep set, that's going to be worth a few extra reps. However, those extra reps are not going to translate to a higher 1RM. And that's where a lot of people get messed up, is they think that it will, and in reality, it actually does not. And I've seen this on numerous occasions where somebody can do insane rep numbers sumo, but it just doesn't translate to the 1RM the way that you would expect. And the opposite can sometimes be true of conventional, where people have their rep work is measurably worse conventional than it is sumo, but they still have a higher 1RM conventional. And that's because your 1RM is determined by the force production in the weakest part of the range of motion, because that's where you'll fail a lift, right? So it doesn't matter if you can lift 700 pounds 4 inches off the floor, if it's 4 inches off the floor. It matters what you can lift in the first 4 inches if the first 4 inches are your weakest range of motion, weakest part of the range of motion. And this can sometimes mislead people into thinking that they're better off using a sumo stance or a super wide grip bench because they're doing sets over 5 and looking at the estimated 1 rep max and being like, damn, like that's way more than I could do with my normal style. So the key thing here is that you really need to test this, if we're talking about stance width and grip width, with sets at 3 reps at RPE 10 or lower. So like a set of 2 at RPE 9 or a set of 2 at RPE 10, a single at RPE 8, a single at RPE 9, and a single at RPE 10. anything over this is really going to be increasingly misleading. So you might be fine with a set of 4 or a set of 5, but anything over that and the validity that you're of the what the 1RM calculator will spit out starts to decrease. And again, there's more factors at play here than just the amount of reps in the set. And I'll summarize that again really quickly. One, female lifters are typically capable of lifting more reps closer to their 1RM. So that's something that you need to be very aware of in attempt selection, and make sure that you're not basing attempt selection on sets of 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, because a lot of times females can do those amounts of reps in the 85 to 90% range, and males typically can't. And with smaller lifters, you'll see a similar pattern, but to a lesser degree. With very large lifters, it swings the opposite way. I'm talking about, like, I work with some people who are 250 pounds plus, a few people that are 300 pounds plus, and for them, 80% might be 5 or 6 reps. So it's different, and you need to be able to account for this when you're talking about picking the optimal technique or attempt selection out of meet. And again, like I said, stance width and grip width will also play a role here, because if you use a super wide grip or a super wide sumo stance, sure, you'll be able to do more reps. You'll get a couple extra reps above 5 or 6 reps, but what ultimately determines your 1RM is the amount of force that you can produce in the weakest part of the range of motion. And that might be lower for sumo than it is conventional, even if your rep work looks better with sumo. Anyways, that's really all I have to say about that one. The key that I want you guys to walk away with, if you don't listen to anything else, is if you're going to a meet, base your attempt selection on sets of 3 at RPE 10 or less. Anything more than that is going to be misleading. And if you fit into one of the groups that I mentioned as well, female, smaller male, wide stance, wide grip, keep in mind that your 1RM might be a little bit lower than your rep work predicts as well. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, my friends, have a great day. Peace.